Michelle Obama and former President, or First Lady Michelle Obama and former President Bill Clinton, their speeches to the DNC, or at the DNC. Michelle Obama presented a human face to the president, many that a lot on across the aisle refused to see. She painted him as a man who we often see cares about women, students, the rights of gay and lesbian Americans, and the poor, the vulnerable, the people in society that most people across the aisle could care less about. In their Ayn Randian theme of poor people are lazy, poor people this and this, they don't pay any taxes, 47% don't pay taxes, as they say, which is crap. The Congressional Budget Office and the Center for Budget Priorities and Policy said that it's more like 11%, because a lot of them aren't collecting. Many of them may have been unemployed for so long and they've exhausted their unemployment, and right now they're taking from the system only because it's necessary to. Michelle Obama, First Lady Michelle Obama, looked at him, or painted the picture that we've been seeing since the 2008 elections, when we elected him. When we elected him, we saw a man who had a burning desire to put America back on track, away from the trickle-down policies that got us into this financial crisis in the first place. A fiscal conservative who cut taxes, but yet did not address the deficit at all. Or actually, there was no deficit before him. President Obama has spent the least, and it has been more efficient than any other president I can name, other than Bill Clinton. Although he spent more than Obama. Actually, Obama is the smallest spender since smallest spender since Dwight Eisenhower. No Republican can claim that victory. There's another thing too that First Lady Michelle Obama painted, and that is a man who has a clear vision for where he wants his country to go. He wants jobs. He's passed jobs bills that Senate Republicans have constantly filibustered. That they have constantly blocked jobs bills that would have created almost 3 million jobs on top of the ones, the American Jobs Act and the Veterans Jobs Bill. But there have been so many other bills that Republicans in the Senate have blocked from becoming law in the name of making President Obama a one-term president. She painted him as someone who is trudging through this madness in order to fight for the middle class, in order to make sure that when he leaves office, that America is a lot better than he found it. In fact, there's a picture that says, "Y'all know that was f***ed up before I came in," or what is it? Yeah, it was like, "Y'all know that was f***ed up way before I came here." Yeah, that was it. But he is finding solutions. And he is striving to work in a bipartisan way so that America could get back on track. Former President Bill Clinton took another very different path that essentially did the same thing. He painted President Obama as a man who is one after his own presidency, if you will, who is fighting for the middle class, who is not going along with the Republican trickle-down theory that has got us into this deficit in the first place. He told us what healthcare, student loan reform, and basically those two were his biggest points. But he also looked at, he basically laid out so much in that 48 minutes that you have to watch it. In fact, I'm going to put a link to it and Michelle Obama's speech. He dismantled every single GOP talking point. Dismantled it. If Bill Clinton and Paul Ryan, Bill Clinton would tear him apart in a debate. And I'm sure that President Obama sure would. In fact, I am in favor of having where the president and the opposition leader or maybe the House and Senate, or either way, the president and the opposition leader, as they do in the UK, every month or so, once a month maybe, or twice a month, where the opposition leader asks questions of the president, and the president responds to those questions without knowing what they are in advance. First of all, former President Bush II would never have, he would have been just, that would have painted him, I think that he would have just, no, he wouldn't have been elected in the first place, or re-elected especially. But due to a lot of voter fraud on the part of Republicans, and a lot of crazy BS, he got re-elected. But then again, there's no voter fraud, but misleading voters, I would say, is definitely voter fraud. But you know, they don't want to address that part of it. But let me get back on track. He dismantled every single talking point. He dismantled the trickle-down theory. It was basically like him being the president and the opposition leader, but the opposition leader was nowhere to be seen after Bill Clinton demolished everything. Somebody had to do it. And unlike Paul Ryan, his speech was a fact checker's nightmare. Unlike Chris Christie, everything had checked out with small exaggerations. But President Bill Clinton did one of the most thorough jobs ever of extolling the president and why we need to re-elect him. And re-elect a Congress that will work with him. America does not need a new president. It needs a new Congress. So if anything, those are my thoughts here. I hope that you enjoy. And if you're not registered to vote, get registered. And make sure that you come back in 2013 if you have a mayoral vote in the next year. And in 2014, because in 2010, there were a lot of Tea Party events, and now there aren't any because everybody knows that everybody is seeing what they're doing. They're driving America's car over the cliff. And I think in 2014, we definitely need to come back because they may try to make a comeback and do the same obstruction that they've been doing these last 2 years. We can't have that. Thank you, YouTube. Have a great day.